So this was on my mind just now, so I kind of wanted to like just make a video on this on the fly with this has no like script or anything, so excuse me if there's like gonna be some points where I'm just rambling, but basically the topic of the video is winning. Wow, what an amazing dungeon that was. Now most people just chunk this dungeon off as basically fan service or it's just reused assets, but for me personally, and trust me, I criticize a lot of the fan service content in this game. I think in this case, the fan service was more than justified. So what do I love so much about this dungeon? I mean, obviously, I love the cool factor and the fan service. It was, and of course the music. Oh my god, the music! It's just incredible. I'm gonna play this in the background most likely, so you can listen to it. Like I know you've probably heard that song a million times, but can't hurt to hear it a million more times. You know, that song is just really gets me going. You know, it's like when I got into this dungeon, I was like, damn, dude. Actually, I have a little story to share in regards to the music, because I did all of the dungeons in Shadowbringers through Trust, right? Because I wanted to experience them with those characters and see their reaction and such. I thought it was like the way to go, and I still think that. But obviously this dungeon you couldn't do with Trust. So I gathered a bunch of friends. Now I knew that this song existed, obviously, because I had watched the job action reveal trailer. So I was throughout Shadowbringers, I was like waiting for it, like where's this song gonna play? When is it gonna play? And then I was thinking like, wait, did they really just make that song for the trailer, and it's not in the game? And then I finally unlocked this one, and when I entered it, it was unbelievable. I was in a Discord call and I instantly deafened because I was like, yes, this is the song, that's the one, this is gonna be epic. I mean, that song, man, it's just wow. Sorry for cussing, but it's just fucking amazing. But anyway, I'm not here to cover the song itself. For that, I recommend checking out this guy called Alex. He makes a lot of these kinds of videos about songs from video games, and he does cover Epic Games, FF14 among them. He does some really good job on those, and I recommend checking out the winning one specifically. I'm gonna link it down below. Anyway, the reason I think that dungeon is so lit is because of the way the developers use it as such a really powerful writing tool. Because when you play Shadowbringers, it trusts you into this completely new world, and everything's completely different from how we were used to the source. That's the whole core theme of the expansion, that you enter this new shard and nothing is the same anymore. But what they do with this dungeon is they pull you back and put you into this place that has basically all this really quote-unquote generic stuff you've already seen so much in the source, such as, like, look at the dungeon design itself, just full of elegant tech, just everywhere, and there you will even fight a void sent boss in it. That was very much done deliberately, because those are some of the main things you encounter when you play F14 proper in the source, right? It's used as this bridge to bring the players back some feeling of familiarity at the end. That's why it's an optional dungeon at the end once you've completed Shadowbringers. It's so cool, but it doesn't end there. I also think it's really cool how this dungeon was basically used as a way to close that plot thread of how it's Grahatia used time travel basically. If not for this dungeon, that whole plot thread would still be open. We wouldn't have a conclusion to it, but with this, it's wrapped up in such a nice way that it's like, wow. The way they also integrate all those past storylines that you played, it's also just, you see, the way the reason I like it is because all those storylines, they're optional. So someone who does this dungeon who hadn't done them might be confused, but it's at the same time really rewarding for those who did do them. So you get this feeling of like satisfaction, I did that before. I may have done Alexander like a few years ago, but you still remember what happened there, and I think it's kind of cool that it kind of makes those stories better, because you know that they eventually lead up to something really good, and it adds to the characters as well involved, especially like Sid. I think I appreciate him a lot more as a character after doing twinning, realizing that all the time you spend with that character actually mattered. And that's essentially why I like this dungeon so much. It uses those past optional storylines and not only brings them together, but also uses that to give the players a sense of familiarity at the end of Shadowbringers, while it's also being used as a bridge between Stormblood and Shadowbringers, closing off that plot thread of how it all got put in motion. And while doing all that, it also incorporates so much cool factor in it. For example, fighting a mockery version of Kalia and just demolishing it. It was this really empowering moment, because me and my static, when we did it, we struggled to kill that cunt Hydra boss in turn 11 for a long time. So that kind of made me think how far my character has come since then. The way you legit fight an enemy called Mark 144 Thermocoil Boilbuster, like that was actually just hilarious. And of course, to top it all off, you encounter a mockery version of Alexander Prime at the end. The background for that fight is just incredible, with referencing all those 3 storylines from each expansion past. That was pretty much the cream on top. And then of course at the end, when it concludes, you realize to prevent the calamity, the Ironworks, using Sid's combined knowledge of the Crystal Tower, Alexander and Omega, create a version of the Crystal Tower that can traverse time and dimensions. And that was thanks to your contribution, which, as I mentioned previously, set the wheels in motion for the Shadowbringer story. Like, what more wholesome way to connect that all together than that? And I'ma finish this video off here, as I don't think I need to add any more to this. If you don't think this dungeon is awesome, then your brain is fundamentally flawed, and I'm sorry. Have a nice day, my friends.